held myself to a very high standard and the rest of society to a very low standard. For example, a man in his 50s could walk around with a My Little Pony shirt on and have My Little Pony as his favorite show, and I would not bat an eye. I'd be like, good for you, and move on. But me, I am no longer 10 years old, so I believe that I am too old for My Little Pony. No one else in the world is too old for it. Just me. I did not grow up on TV. All I had was a shelf of discs, all sorted in the wrong boxes that we prayed would work even though they were scratched beyond repair. I did not grow up with The Amazing World of Gumball, Steven Universe, Uncle Grandpa, all those things people expect you to have seen as a child. Now, I did watch some My Little Pony when my dad got access to his friend's Netflix account for a short amount of time, but I also had a brother who didn't want to watch it, and we siblings did everything together, so we weren't allowed to watch it unless he wasn't around. And that just never happened, so we mainly just watched Ninjago and Journey to Burke's Edge, or whatever that show was called. So when I started watching My Little Pony way back when, everyone I knew had already grown out of their My Little Pony phase, so I never got to have My Little Pony phase because we were in middle school and that was a very uncool thing to like. 50 years later, aka the present day, I decided I wanted to watch it again. And I love it. I really wanted to make a video about it, and all I could think of was a redesign video, so here we are. I would have liked to do something different, but I didn't know what else to do. So, let's get into it. We're redesigning the main 6. I have 0 issues with their designs. Yes, they're all simple. Yes, they're all 2 to 3 colors, but I think they're great. They get the point across. You can look at that character and tell who they're supposed to be and their personality. I don't have any problems with it. Yeah, I know they're all like the same body type, but they're all animation puppets, so I don't really care about that. The only design I have an issue with is Rainbow Dash, so we're gonna start with her. The main reason I hate her design is because all of the other main 6 have unique hairstyles, and she does not. Her hairstyle is copy and pasted on a whole bunch of background characters, and that bugs me really bad, because it's not like that with any of the other main 6. It's just Rainbow Dash. And I feel like a main character shouldn't look like a background character just recolored. With the whole Daring Do thing, I was so upset that Daring Do was literally just Rainbow Dash, but a different coat color and black and white rainbow mane. That was just, I don't know, it upset me for some reason. Especially when Daring Do ended up becoming a unique character. And if you look at all of the Thunderbolts, they all have cool manes, and they're all speedsters just like Rainbow Dash, and they all look so much more interesting than her. Rainbow Dash is so boring to look at. Yes, she has a rainbow mane. That does not make a difference. It does not add any uniqueness to her design. So I decided to spike her hair back and make it look like she's going fast constantly, like all of the other Thunderbolts, because it looks good. And my brain probably copied this from other Rainbow Dash redesigns because I do not live under a rock and I have seen redesigns before. And I made her coat gray. I was originally gonna keep the blue, but it just wasn't vibing with what I was going for. So I went for the storm cloud gray looking thing, and I like it so much better. It had such a nice contrast to the rainbow. I also added it to her wings, and I redesigned all of their cutie marks because one thing that really bothered me about Rarity, Fluttershy, Applejack, and Pinkie Pie's cutie marks is that they're just 3 of the same shape. Like Rainbow Dash and Twilight have really unique cutie marks, except for those other 4, and that just really bugs me because it just feels sort of basic. All the other background characters have those sets of 3 type cutie marks. I really just like that very bold line of these are main characters and you guys are insignificant NPCs. And so when there's anything that makes you compare the 2 designs, it just bugs me. I feel like you shouldn't compare NPC designs with main character designs. So for Rainbow Dash's cutie mark redesign, I decided to make it a rainbow lightning bolt, like on her original cutie mark, except instead of it coming out of a cloud, I decided the cloud to be around it, like her Sonic Rain Boom, how it poofs all the clouds out of the way. That's what I was going for. It makes more sense. That's how she got her cutie mark, was doing a Sonic Rain Boom, so I don't know why her cutie mark doesn't look like a Sonic Rain Boom. I know the Rain Boom has like a circle rainbow around it, and I was gonna do that, but I thought that would just add way too much to the cutie mark. It doesn't need to be that complicated, so I just kept it just a regular cloud. I also really wanted to show a lot of shapes in her design that reflect her character, and so I gave her lightning patterns all over her because it looks interesting and cool, and I think it turned out great. Her design is probably my favorite. Unlike her character, I hate Rainbow Dash with a burning passion. I hate her so much. I could not be her friend. She is so narcissistic and cocky. She's so in love with herself that it's annoying. I also hate Trixie. And in Trixie's episode, everybody hated Trixie because she wouldn't stop talking about herself and how great she was. But that's the entirety of Rainbow Dash's character. All she talks about is how great she is. She does not stop talking about how amazing she is, and she thinks she's so much better than everyone, and it's so annoying. Like, I'll jokingly say, like, yeah, I know I'm great. As a joke. I don't say it genuinely. She bugs me so much. Every single time a Rainbow Dash episode happens, I want to die. It's all about her being rude in some new way. She'll be rude, and then by the end of the episode, yeah, she'll learn her lesson, but then the next episode that focuses on her is just her being rude in a brand new way. She is just awful to everybody, and I cannot stand her. I do not understand why anyone is friends with her. Her element of friendship is loyalty. Why on earth is that her element of friendship? She doesn't feel loyal at all. I feel like loyalty comes with a bit of selflessness, and I feel like she's not that. I just cannot stand her, like, at all. Like, yeah, sometimes she shows a little bit of loyalty to her friends, but then, like, most of the time, it's just narcissism, and I hate her. My goodness, why does she suck so much? Like, as I continue to watch the show, I'm hoping she gets better, but she's just getting worse. Like, she's just so much worse. Like, when they're decorating Twilight's new castle, she goes and puts up posters of herself and puts her trophies in Twilight's house. How narcissistic do you have to be to do that? I cannot stand her. Anyway, let's move on to Pinkie Pie. I had a really hard time with Pinkie Pie's design because I don't hate it. Hers is actually probably one of my favorite designs. I think it's pretty good. So I mainly just wanted to puff her up and maybe give her a little bit of a unique body. So I made her hair like 1,000 times fluffier and gave her like a fluffy ponytail bun thing in the back. I can't really tell what that's supposed to be. And I added like colorful swirls in her hair just to give her a little something, because compared to everyone else, she would have turned out really plain if I hadn't. And I gave her a little round body with little legs. I know that a lot of people make Pinkie Pie a little bit on the chubbier side, and I was gonna do that, but this just looked better, so I didn't. I just gave her little legs. I changed her cutie mark to be like one of those like confetti popper things, although it kind of just looks like an upside down birthday hat, and I added little balloons coming out of it. I still kept the 3 balloons, but I made it look more interesting. It doesn't just look like a stamp on her back. But Pinkie Pie's character, I can't tell if I find her a bit annoying. I really like her, but she's kind of like a little bit on the stupid side, which is kind of charming and kind of funny sometimes. Like, she can be really funny at times, but other times it's like, why isn't she even like slightly intelligent? Like, she doesn't really change that much. Like, her response to everything is the exact same. I like her, but I feel like she could use a bit more of a dynamic and a little bit more something to her. And what on earth is the element of laughter? I feel like that's a weird element of friendship. I mean, yeah, that's like her whole thing is to make people laugh, but like, how is that an element of friendship? It would make more sense if like her element was like joy, because if you're not happy with your friends, then you're not really friends. So maybe that's what they were going for, but laughter just doesn't make sense. Not everybody laughs with their friends. I mean, like, I suppose it's kind of odd if you don't laugh with your friends, but I don't know. I just feel like laughter isn't really an element. Alright, and then we're gonna talk about Rarity. Rarity is my favorite character in this whole show. I do not understand why people dislike her and how she's not everybody's favorite. She is absolutely awesome. I love her so much. She is so nice to everybody, dramatic, she's a fashionista, and she's so enjoyable. Every time there's a Rarity episode, I am so excited. Generosity is her element. It makes so much sense. It has so much to do with her character. She's just so well written and so amazing. And for her design, I kept it semi the same. I don't really like how her hair turned out. I wish I would have done a little bit better because it kind of looks a bit messy compared to her original hair. I wanted to keep her original hair, but I felt like it wouldn't have really been a redesign if I had, so I didn't, but I wish I had, because it's a really good hairstyle. And I didn't give her any patterns because I wanted her to look sleek and clean, but I did give her an outfit. It didn't make sense to me why she wasn't always wearing clothes. I know the puppet thing and having clothes all the time would be really hard to animate. I feel like she should have something on, even if it's not that extravagant. I wasn't gonna give her a big flowing dress because that's not practical for everyday use. So I gave her like a sort of saddle thing that has like a necklace in the front and like a skirt in the back. And it kind of makes her look like a cheerleader, but that just makes sense because she is very posh and prissy. But I love Rarity oh so much. Like every time she has a crash out, it's so reasonable and she feels so bad about it by the end. Keep in mind, by the way, I only just started season 5. I have not gotten past that, okay? Keep that in mind, so no spoilers in the comments, please. Her cutie mark, I hate her cutie mark. Out of everybody's, it is my least favorite. It makes no sense with her passion. She does fashion, and yes, she really likes gems, and she really likes putting gems on her clothing. But that's not the main focus of who she is. The main focus is that she is a fashion designer. So why isn't her cutie mark about fashion designing? Why is it diamonds? That doesn't make any sense at all. So I still kept the diamond. I kept it more for the beauty of it, which is probably what the original cutie mark was about, but it still didn't give fashion designer. The diamond is supposed to represent beauty, and then I did the little needle and thread wrapping around it because that makes sense. I wasn't gonna put like a dress on there or a mannequin because that would have been weird. I feel like that this is vague enough to be like, oh yeah, she's a fashion designer. I could tell by looking at her cutie mark. You should be able to tell who someone is by looking at their cutie mark. That's the whole point of them. Come on now. Alright, and then Twilight Sparkle. From what I remembered about Twilight Sparkle, I hated her so much. Granted, I think I got my idea of her from the My Little Pony movie because I have seen that a couple of times in the past few years. And in the movie, she is unbearably awful. I did not understand why she was the princess of friendship when she treated her friends that badly in the movie. There wasn't even a moment where she treated her friends good in that entire movie. She never trusted them. She went behind their backs. She was just terrible. I'm like, how can this pony be the princess of friendship when she's the worst at making friends? Like, one thing I did remember, because that was like the whole start of the show, was that she did not have friends until she moved to Ponyville. That makes no sense. The princess of friendship isn't good at making friends. The main 6 had to become friends with her. She did not become friends with them. She realized at the end of episode 2 of season 1, these people, even though I pushed them away, are still trying to be my friends. I didn't get it. But, you know, watching it now, I understand why she's the princess of friendship. Sure, I think Rarity would make more sense for being the princess of friendship because she actively tries to befriend everyone and do nice things for everyone. Twilight's personality isn't make friends with everyone I meet. Her personality is study, so it would make more sense that she was the princess of studying. But she is the main character, so she becomes a princess of friendship. I really like Twilight. Watching the show, there's nothing wrong with her. She's nice. She's kind of annoyingly too much of a book nerd. Like, that's all she talks about. But I think she's great. She's kind of become sort of like a background character compared to the other ponies. But we haven't had very many Twilight-focused episodes. The only time she's really important is during the plot episodes. And then, like, all we do is focus on her and none of the rest of them. For her redesign, I kind of just wanted to make her darker and maybe do up her hair a little bit. Her design made sense. She's got straight hair. Yeah. But I gave her a little bun to make it look like she's working constantly. And I added little star patterns all over her, like I did with Rainbow Dash, but instead of lightning, it's stars because it makes sense. And I just think it looks so much better than the original. I changed her cutie mark to make a little bit more sense with the friendship thing. So it's still the star, but instead of having little stars around it, I had it be like a sort of like magical twirl thing. And the point of that is like your friendship, you're like tied together or something like that. I just wanted to have some resemblance of friendship because like Celestia is like the princess of the sun, and then Luna's the princess of the moon, and Cadence is the princess of love. And all of their cutie marks show that, except for Twilight. Her cutie mark is about magic. Why isn't she the princess of magic then? Doesn't make any sense. That is another thing that kind of bothers me about Twilight. What on earth is the element of magic? What does magic have to do with friendship at all? That doesn't make any sense. The plot episode about, what was his name, Trigon, the dude sucking magic out of everybody, and she gave up all the princess's magic to save her friends. Maybe it has something to do with like value. She's the element of value because friendship is valuable. So maybe that's what it is. She sees the value in what friendship has to offer. I don't know, but magic just doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. I don't get why magic is her element. The big thing I hate about Twilight's cutie mark though is Starlight Glimmer. Now, I'm only 3 episodes into season 5, but I've already met Starlight Glimmer. I have seen clips of Starlight Glimmer in the future, and Twilight specifically says, Starlight Glimmer has more powerful magic than I have ever seen in anyone, including myself. Why on earth would you make the main character's special ability magic, and then make another character's special ability magic, but it's better than hers? Why would you do that? That just completely takes away from everything special about this character. It really bugs me so badly. Like, couldn't they at least have been on, like, equal power? If anything, Twilight should be more powerful because now she's an alicorn and she has alicorn magic. Why is Starlight Glimmer more powerful than an alicorn? It doesn't make any sense to me. Couldn't Starlight Glimmer's special ability have been, like, curses or something? That way she still has powerful magic, but it's not the same exact magic as Twilight, but better. On to Applejack. Applejack is great. She is the heart and soul of this group. She is the voice of reason. She is honest, and she's a hard worker, and she's just really good at balancing life for herself and figuring out how to balance life for her friends. So I wanted to make her look like a hard working pony. She wouldn't be skinny like the rest of them, so I made her a giant stallion, or Clydesdale, I think that's what the horses are called. So she's bigger than the rest of them. She's buff. I wanted to make her look like a farm horse. I braided up her hair because her original hair didn't make any sense to me. Why would you tie the bottom of your hair together? What does that do? That doesn't keep it out of your face at all. It just didn't make any sense to me. So I braided it together, and I just sort of like curled the little front poof a little bit. And I kept her hat because why would you get rid of the cowboy hat? That doesn't make any sense. And I also gave her like a little bandana around her neck just because she needed something else on her body, because I didn't really know how to complicate her design. It didn't really need to be complicated, so I added a bit of pattern on there, but other than that, it's just sort of the same. I kept her colors. There's nothing wrong with her colors. I really like her colors. It does remind me of the Applejack cereal though, and I always thought that was funny that her name is Applejack and she looks like Applejack cereal. For her cutie mark, once again, I hate the 3 copy and paste images, so I made it an apple with a slice out of it to show that it's an apple. And then I put little leaves around it. Gives the vibe of growing apples, which is what she does. I don't really have much to say about Applejack. She's a pretty straightforward, good character. Now, there is only one group of people out of the main 6 I ship, and that is Rarity and Applejack. Why are they not a thing? Why is Applejack and Rainbow Dash a thing? Why? I don't get it. Applejack and Rarity are so good together. They have so much chemistry, they get along, they like opposite things, but they still enjoy each other's hobbies as well. Like the one episode where Rarity was trying to impress that one guy who liked Applejack instead of her, and Applejack dresses up all pretty and stuff. Applejack wasn't disgusted by it. She wasn't like, ew, please get me out of these gross dresses. She liked being in it. She never complained about it at all. Yes, Rarity does complain about the mud and dirt, but she still appreciates what Applejack does. Why Applejack and Rainbow Dash end up together? All they did was compete with each other. And yeah, I guess that's sort of like a basis for a relationship, but like, there are way more Rarity and Applejack episodes than there are Rainbow Dash and Applejack episodes. The Rainbow Dash and Applejack episodes are just them competing with each other, but with Rarity, it's just like a different experience every time. I don't get it. I don't get it. Alright, and then on to Fluttershy, my pretty girl. I love her so much. She's such a cutie patootie. I ship her so bad with Discord. I remember as a kid shipping them. I thought they were so cute. Discord comes along. It's like, hey, I'm a bad guy. And she's like, yeah, I know, but I'm gonna like you anyway. And he's like, oh, she's so sweet. And he becomes a good guy. Yeah, he betrays her at some point, but he feels like instantly guilty about it. Like, come on. Why would they not be a thing? It's just so cute. Honestly, if I was in the My Little Pony world, my cutie mark would either be animals or it would be storytelling. Because when I was a kid, I was addicted to animals. I loved learning about them. I liked playing as animals. When we went to the library, there was this book. It was called like The World's Top 100 Most Amazing Animals or whatever that book was called. I loved it so much. Every time we went to the library, I got that specific book. No other book in that library, just that one. And we would play games where we would open it to random pages and we would have to play as that animal. Or we would take little toys and each page we'd have to like jump around the animal and like avoid its mouth or whatever was going on. Because each page was like an image of an animal, and then it had like facts about it on the side. And I loved that book. I loved it so much. My mom got it for me as a present, and it was the best present I had ever gotten as a kid. But I loved animals so much. Wildcrats was my jam. Every time it was on, which was rarely ever, we didn't watch PBS that often, but I was addicted. Also, by the way, out of Mark and Chris, Mark is the better one. It probably would have ended up being an Animal Cutie Mark because that was the thing I really liked as a kid. And I didn't discover I liked writing stories and telling stories until I was in middle school, like halfway through middle school. So I would have been really old when I got my Cutie Mark. Like the Cutie Mark Crusaders. I could go on a huge rant about why I hate the Cutie Mark Crusaders Cutie Marks. But we're not redesigning them right now, so we're not going to talk about it. We're going to go back to Fluttershy. I've seen redesigns of all these characters before, so if I'm stealing designs from people, I'm really sorry, but it just makes so much sense. I've seen so many redesigns of Fluttershy where they make her really tall and lanky, and I don't know why. That just makes a lot of sense to me, and I really like it. Would it technically have made more sense if she was short and small? Yes, but does this look so much better? Yeah, it makes her feel like a gentle giant. Especially when she gets like angry at like animals or people. I made her hair a lot longer and straighter because her hair it's just so perfect in the show, but I wanted it to make it like a lot more flowy, sort of like a willow tree. And I kept her colors the exact same. The pastels work really well. And I made her wings a bit bigger. I made all of their wings bigger because it just doesn't make sense of why their wings are so teeny tiny. It wouldn't get you off the ground unless you're a bumblebee. And last I checked, they aren't bumblebees, so. And I didn't complicate anything with her. I sort of just gave her a lightened front feet and a lighter mouth, but you can like barely see it. I feel like she doesn't need to be complicated. Her stature and her hair give you enough about her personality. She doesn't need a complicated pattern. I only redesigned their main forms. I didn't do their Equestria Girls form, and I'm not going to turn the My Little Pony characters into humans because there is this artist called Naomi KWC, I don't really know how to pronounce it, put it on the screen real quick, who made the most perfect human designs for all the My Little Pony characters. Like, I could not do better if I tried. But yeah, I think that's all for now. I really like all of their designs. They are so beautiful. People have 100% done better than me with these redesigns, but I like them. Anyway, that's all for now. I have commissions if you want to commission me. Link in the description. I also have a Discord server if you want to chat, also in the description. Yep, like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. I hope you have a wonderful day. Adios, amigos. Bye!